Hello, and welcome to The Lantern. Today we'll be looking at the ideas behind self-improvement and something known as the blame game. Now, the ultimate goal that everyone has when playing League of Legends is to win. It's the quickest form of enjoyment, and you always feel great after getting that W. And the best method to increase your chances of winning is to focus on self-improvement. It creates the best long-term outcomes, and while there isn't always an immediate showcasing of higher performance, it will show in future games. Now, what is that blame game that I mentioned, and how does it relate to self-improvement? Well, the blame game is a way in which people try to explain the creation of a certain outcome. In other words, it's what a person says caused something. Now, the cause can be focused around a central force. Rarely will people have it be multiple forces. It's usually one single force that people will focus on. And there are two types of these forces. There are external forces, which is anything other than yourself. And then there are internal forces, which are yourself. Now, the average person will always follow the trend of using external forces for negative outcomes and internal forces for positive outcomes. It helps keep your self-esteem high, and it helps you forget about undesirable moments, making it so that you can try and think of yourself as a higher individual than you actually are, just to make yourself feel nice. Now, there is a way that you can use the blame game to your own advantage to make it so that you can play better in your future games. For any time that you have a negative outcome in a match, such as losing a team fight or a trade, you want to avoid using external forces, such as focusing on allies, enemies, or game mechanics themselves, since it will not improve your own ability. Instead, you want to use only internal forces when looking at a negative outcome. By seeing yourself as the cause of a bad outcome, you'll see what went wrong, and it will be fresh in your mind for any similar scenarios that happen again, and you'll be more prepared in the future. But don't beat yourself up over it. Think more along the lines of, what can I do differently next time? Not, oh, I played that so terrible, I just have to do it better. No, you want to think of what needs to be done better, not just the idea of be better. Now, for positive outcomes, which can be something like having a great rotation to take some towers, getting Baron for your team, things like that, internal forces are still good to use, since you'll remember how you create that outcome for future games, and you can also boost your confidence mid-game to increase performance during that specific match. But external forces also are very helpful for positive outcomes, since putting some of the blame on someone else for doing well can make you more reluctant to focus on your own mistakes, even though the outcome turned out to be very positive. And you can think of what you could have done even better. Also, it helps keep your confidence level in check, since there have been many studies throughout time that have shown that there is a peak level of confidence you want to be at for performance during a certain time, and if you go beyond that level of confidence, you'll actually lose performance. Now, overall, for positive outcomes, it's best to use a mixture of both external and internal forces, so that you don't want to go on the extreme of one or the other. Now, some tips on how to practice using this blame game in the correct way. One way is that if you are willing, write down key notes of improvement in order to help make it a habit for you to start thinking of how you need to be better, and it helps you memorize those key moments. After every single scenario in the game, you want to just stop and ask yourself, what could I have done better? Now, you want to start broad for this. It can be things like item build, champion picks, big moments like, oh, we lost that tower, or oh, I got dove even though we didn't see where the jungler or the mid laner was. Just things like that. But as time goes on, you can get far more specific. A good scenario is that if you're playing AD carry and you just died before a team fight happens, you can think something like this. Well, if the enemy has an assassin, I'll want to wait to go in until I see their dash get used. That way I know they can't jump on me. That is far more specific than something like, oh, I don't want to pick an immobile champion if they have an assassin. Now, eventually, you will want to think of every single minion, every single trade, every single little thing that could be done better if you want to drastically show improvements and try and reach the top level of gameplay. And you'll also want to remember that you can win a game with nearly any champion as long as you are better than your opponents. Having this mindset will open you up to a far bigger champion roster, first of all, but it will also reduce the reasoning behind external forces, since it will be less likely for you to just blame the game for a bad matchup or anything like that, because you can always be better than your opponents. Now, if you see yourself start to blame allies or the game itself still to the point that you're getting upset, you need to stop, take a breath, drink some water, and just let yourself calm down and don't get any more upset, since this will not allow you to improve at all. When you are at an extreme of an emotion, your ability to process the information that is happening within a game in order to try and comprehend how you could have done it better or where you need to get better will just go down the drain. In addition, you'll also want to avoid playing with people that are drastically above or below your own skill level. This is because if you're playing with people that are below your level, you'll be well overconfident in your ability, you'll stomp them most likely, but you won't learn anything from it. While if you're playing with people that are far above you, you will probably be the one getting stomped, and you'll simply get upset and not be able to actually see where you need to improve, since you're just focusing on the fact that they're better than you, and that's what you're thinking, so that's why you're lost, instead of, I was worse than them, and that's why I lost. And that about wraps everything up. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let me know what topic you would like to hear about for the next set of Psychology of League. Right now, I'm planning to do something along the lines of Champion Select or the Mind Games of Skill Shots. And as always, I will see you on the Rift.